And I'd like to welcome in now Shakur Stevenson to the show. And for people who don't know, I'm involved in boxing now for I don't know how many years. And if someone asked me who's the best bet to be the next pound-for-pound #1 guy when given the chance, I'd put my money on Shakur. Shakur has more to lose. Yes. He's the undefeated fighter. He's seen as the eventual pound-for-pound champ potentially. Yes. But Teo has more to win. He has more to gain. So on the one hand, is there an advantage there where Shakur is fighting to protect that perfect record, to protect that kind of sense that he's the next guy? On the other hand, Teo is like he can fight with more abandon against Shakur because there's so much for him to gain. And if he loses, he's lost before. He's lost to Kambosos, and he came back from that.
The opposite of what they expect you to do. So for me, I try to do the unexpected. I try to make sure if you go out there expecting me to move and run around the ring, I want to give you the opposite. So it was a strategic game plan.
Shakur Stevenson explains to Max Kellerman that once the bell rings, there is no room for friendliness. Respect can exist outside the ring, but inside it becomes a fight for dominance. Shakur believes Teofimo Lopez is dangerous and confident, so approaching him casually would be a mistake. To win, he has to impose his skill, control the pace, and mentally break his opponent while staying sharp, disciplined, and focused until the final bell.
Won't be one of them fighters.
I see. You're not saying you don't respect your opponent's fight game. You're saying you're not there to make friends. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not here to make friends. At the end of the day, my life on the line, his life on the line. We got families to feed, and I take this very serious. So at the end of the day, I can't go in there, touch gloves, and be happy and be friendly.
Max Kellerman explains that a true super fight cannot be manufactured through promotion alone. It happens naturally when an era settles, and only two elite fighters remain standing. Kellerman places Crawford and Canelo in that category as defining figures of their time. He believes this matchup carries similar weight because it could mark the closing chapter of an era. Teofimo Lopez could be the last man standing, or Shakur Stevenson could emerge as that defining figure.
Broadcast for Crawford and Canelo can't be promoted into existence. Right. What a real super fight is, the dust settles in an era, and there are two dudes left standing. There's Ali, there's Frazier, there's Leonard, there's Hagler, there's Mayweather, there's Pacquiao. That's a super fight, right? There's Crawford, there's Canelo. Those are two big fighters of the era. This type of fight, this could easily be at the end of an era, because Teo might be a dude left standing and Shakur could be the dude left standing, right?
I agree. But Shakur Stevenson makes it clear that he never fights the way people expect him to. When opponents and fans think they have his style figured out, he deliberately switches things up. If they expect him to box carefully, he becomes more aggressive. If they prepare for pressure, he slows the fight down and controls distance. Shakur believes unpredictability is one of his biggest weapons inside the ring. By doing the opposite of what is anticipated, he forces opponents to think, hesitate, and make mistakes. This ability to adjust keeps him a step ahead and separates him from many fighters.
Expect you to do one thing, and sometimes you want to give a fighter the opposite of what they expect you to do. So for me, I try to do the unexpected. I try to make sure if you go out there expecting me to move and run around the ring, I want to give you the opposite. So it was a strategic game plan too.
Did he have any pop at all?
You know, it's crazy. A lot of people say that he don't. But, like, if somebody hit you in the same spot 500,000 times over and over, I don't give a fuck who it is. It's like boom, 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 over and over. You're going to feel that spot. So he's one of them guys. Like, he's going to constantly hit you over and over. That's why his knockout percentage is a good knockout percentage.
Would you say you were – look, you obviously barely ever get hit in a fight. But because you were in a pocket, you got hit more than you normally get hit, right, in that fight. Did your body feel different after the fight?
Hell yeah. Like I never left the ring feeling like...
Max Kellerman breaks down the fight by reminding people how often Teofimo Lopez has been doubted. He points out that most of the boxing world favored Josh Taylor, yet Teofimo dominated that matchup. Kellerman also highlights Timo's win over Lomachenko, noting his urgency and high output in the final round to secure victory. Even in the loss to George Kambosos, Kellerman mentions the serious medical issue Teofimo was dealing with, which affected his performance. He suggests that one-off nights should not erase Lopez's proven ability to rise under pressure.
But everyone was picking Josh Taylor that you spoke to in boxing.
Yeah.
And we saw what Teo did to Josh Taylor. We saw what Teo did to Lomachenko. And one of the things that I think that gets lost in that fight against Lomachenko is Teo threw more than 100 punches in the final round to make sure he won that fight.
Yeah, no question. Even in the loss that he had against Kambosos, where he had a puncture, like he had some medical condition in his esophagus that was dangerous actually, and it looked like an off night. By the way, George Kambosos doesn't like when I say this, and I apologize. I understand it feels unfair to you, and maybe it is unfair, but this is my honest opinion. It may be, but it is still my honest opinion, Malik. I just have to be honest with the way I see it. I don't think that was the best version of Teo by a long shot. But even then, he was rallying in that fight late. He has championship heart. And the thing I like about Teo's style, I mean, when you have a guy like Shakur whose defense is that good, and he's not just the guy who's going to hug.
Shakur Stevenson makes it clear that sparring with Terence Crawford played a major role in elevating his game. He explains that sharing the ring with someone of Crawford's intelligence and versatility forced him to sharpen every detail of his boxing. The speed, the timing, and the constant adjustments pushed Shakur beyond his comfort zone. Crawford's ability to switch styles and read opponents helped Shakur see the sport from a higher level. According to Shakur, those sessions changed how he thinks in the ring, making him calmer, smarter, and more complete as a fighter. Bernie Thaw Boxer gives a detailed perspective on why Shakur Stevenson stands out against Teofimo Lopez. He points out that unlike other fighters, Shakur can't be underestimated or contained. While Jermaine Ortiz moved a lot against Lopez, Shakur never allowed that to happen. In Bernie's view, De Los Santos, despite gaining a reputation, posed little threat. He never hurt or wobbled Shakur and was limited in ability. Bernie highlights that Shakur's style and composure make him difficult to challenge, emphasizing his intelligence and adaptability inside the ring. Bernie suggests that fighters like De Los Santos could be useful for other matchups, such as Abdullah Mason's first title defense, rather than being tested against Shakur. Ultimately, Bernie underscores Shakur's superiority in tactical brilliance. He credits Shakur's ability to neutralize opponents, avoid danger, and maintain control throughout fights. Against Lopez, Bernie sees Shakur's composure and ring IQ as decisive factors that make him one of boxing's most challenging young champions.
He couldn't beat a one-handed guy. And if you go back and watch that fight, like I'm saying, Shakur wasn't just running. Jermaine Ortiz really moved a lot on Teo. That never happened with Shakur Stevenson and fighting this guy. That never happened. So De Los Santos is De Los Santos. He got a reputation off of that. That boosted his reputation. I don't know why. He didn't do nothing to Shakur. He didn't wobble him, didn't hurt him, didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? And the man was one-handed. So, but shout out to De Los Santos. Like I say, I think he's more risk than reward. Actually, that'll be a great fight for Abdullah Mason in his first title defense. That'll be a great fight for him in his title defense. That'll be a good. They should use him for that
instead of Joe Cordina.
Yeah, Joe Cordina was rough too, though. I watched him against the kid from Fresno. What's the kid's name? I forget his name. They was pushing him, but he just ain't there. He took a lot of punishment. He probably need to go get a job. Gabriel Flores. Gabe Flores. Yeah. Gabe Flores.
From Vegas,
yeah. He from Fresno. Or he from Sacramento. He from the Bay Area.
Yeah, he just be training. Yeah, he be training.
Yeah. So I would say I would say that, you know what I mean? Because Abdullah Mason is the guy. I think he got a lot of potential. And like I said, him fighting a guy like De Los Santos is almost like a Bud fighting Gamboa in his first title defense. You know what I mean? So that would be a great fight for Abdullah Mason. You know what I mean? And he's more known than Joe Cordina. You know what I mean? And given the controversy that he's been in, you know what I'm saying? The way he's perceived as kind of feared, that'll be a great fight for Abdullah Mason.
Damn, my boy Bernie said that's like Gamboa versus Crawford for his first title defense. That shit is fire.
Yeah.
I like it. Carlos Vargas, thank you for the donation. Shout out from the Bay. Who you guys got, Shakur or Shakur Stevenson? How does this play out?
I don't know, man. Like I'm saying, I don't know. I don't know how it play out. I'm just want to see the fight.
So you think it's a 50-50? Shakur and Teo?
everything is a 50-50. Well, I would say 60, but I'm leaning towards Shakur for sure. I'm leaning for Shakur. I'm rooting for Shakur.
So you think it's gonna be a close fight?
Well, I don't know about how close. I don't know. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. Let me say that. I think it's going to be a
Shakur Stevenson explains that chasing greatness means facing whoever stands in the path. For him, Teofimo Lopez is not personal but necessary. Shakur believes legacy is built by beating the best available opponents. If Teofimo blocks the road to the top, then the fight has to happen. In Shakur's mind, avoiding that challenge would slow his rise toward boxing greatness.